Yeah, well, guess what? My mic wasn't working for this first 5 minutes of footage, so I'm gonna cut out most of it and let you know what was said. Very unfortunate. So basically, here is me opening my new skateboard package that I ordered from NHS. It is a Santa Cruz VX deck with the Ever Slick technology. Very interesting. So the board has a rough texture on the outside that helps it slide more. It reduces friction, therefore letting it slide a lot better by having a texture like that. Now, if you weren't aware, these Santa Cruz VX decks and the Powell Flight decks, they are 5 layers of Canadian maple with 2 layers of carbon fiber, one on the top and one on the bottom. And this really keeps the board very light, makes it feel very responsive, and it's also very strong. They are a little bit more expensive compared to other boards, but for me, paying twice what a normal deck would cost and getting 3 to 4 times the longevity out of the board makes it well worth it in my opinion. Quick humble brag. Enzo got an award at school. Enzo is having a fantastic 2nd grade year. He is very responsible, kind, hardworking, helpful, and compassionate. He sets a good example for his peers by following directions quickly and trying his best in all classroom activities. Enzo is always willing to lend a hand. I'm so proud of all his accomplishments. Way to go, Enzo. Sweet. All right, so I've received some questions about my setup. So let me show you. The wheels we're rocking right now are Orbs. Can't remember what exactly they were. I want to say they were 54 millimeter 99A Orbs. Purchased them in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, I believe, at Pistol Skate Shop. But they are getting rather coned. Oh, yikes. This one is horrible. These are getting very coned. I've been skating them for about a year. Yeah, these are coned horribly. I need to swap these out very soon. But the Orbs have been pretty good. They're grippy when I need them to be and have just enough slide to revert some tricks around and do fun circus stuff like that, so that's cool. As for trucks, I'm rocking the Ace AF1s. They are skating super well. They have a pretty low kingpin, as you can see. So Smith grinds, Feebles, Willie grinds have been really nice with these trucks. They are still not even broken in. What's up? You're good. They're still not even broken in. Not a whole lot of marking on them. They do have riser pads for whatever reason. I can't remember why I even put those on. And this was my old Santa Cruz VX deck, which is now going bye-bye. It's held up pretty well. There's a bit of like fraying there, which happens. It has not razor-tailed very badly, believe it or not, so that's great news. And there's been no delamming, no anything odd. I don't even see pressure cracks. These decks are truly like awesome. You need to try one if you haven't. The price tag seems a little steep, anywhere from like $70 to $110 depending on where you buy it from, but well worth it. So let's go ahead and disassemble this puppy. While we do that, I guess I will answer a few questions from subscribers here. Not a whole lot of questions, but I have a few. So first one is, what's it like skating in your town? So for those that don't know, I am in a small valley. This valley is located between 2 states, Idaho and Washington. I used to live on the Idaho side, but I've recently moved to the Washington side, which is neat. Ooh, this thing's gonna tip over. Yeah, like I said, I recently moved to the Washington side. And this area is rather small. There's not a lot of like nightlife and things like that, so it may be boring to some. However, we do have a lot of beaches. There are a lot of outdoors things to do, whether it's hiking, hunting, rafting, mountain biking, tons of good mountain biking places, riding dirt bikes, 4-wheelers, you name it, there's a lot of outdoor stuff to do, which is amazing. And as for skating around here, the skate scene here is still pretty small. There's a decent number of us, probably, I'd say 30 of us total skaters around here, but only a quarter of those people go out skating more than once a year. So there's really not a lot of us, but those of us that are here are really into it. This valley does not have the best street spots. We have some very rough ground, so that makes it a little difficult skating around here. Growing up, we would skate a lot of parking lots because that was the only place we could find smooth ground. The roads to get to these parking lots before we had cars were not good. The roads were super awful, chipped up asphalt that was not fun to ride on at all. But once we got cars, we were able to fairly easily get around and find good spots to skate. But to this day, I don't skate a whole lot. Wow, that was loud. To this day, I don't skate a whole lot of street for no real reason other than I don't want to get in trouble. I've been threatened by the police and security at various campuses and stuff around this area, and I really don't want to get in trouble, receive a fine, get trespassed, none of that stuff that stays on your record and can come up later on when you're changing employment or things like that where they need to run a background check and stuff like that comes up and they'll ask you to explain it. I know that's kind of boring, but it's the truth. You gotta be a good person. So that's one thing that's kind of kept me from street skating much these days, but back in the day we would street skate a lot. Some of the best places to street skate around here are the various schools. There's elementary schools, high schools, junior highs, colleges around here. There's 2 colleges in this valley, 2 high school, technically like 3 high schools, a whole bunch of grade schools, and like preschools and stuff, but those as well as churches are some of the best places to skate around here. And you could see how that could be a problem. A lot of us have also gone to the effort of making our own things to skate where we don't get in trouble, skating things at our homes, building ramps, boxes, rails in the driveway, things like that. And just going to the skate park. We have a nice skate park. It needs a little bit of upkeep, I'll admit, but I've been able to raise some funds with the help of others and through our competitions and stuff. We are growing the skate scene and really showing the city that there's a need for more skate facilities, better skate facilities, and it's a long road, but we're getting there. So that is how I would describe skating in my town. It's a very small population of skateboarders, but in the summertime is when most of them come out. These dudes you haven't seen all year. They come out in the summertime looking a little chunky, a little round around their edges, but they come out in the summertime and that's when we all get to hang out again at the skate park. Some guys will bring down like barbecues and stuff. They'll barbecue at the skate park for us and things like that. A lot of just like good homey type vibes, you know. All right, another question I got from my buddy Asen, Skate Vibes. He said, what's your favorite obstacle and why? And honestly, initially, I want to say my favorite obstacle would just be flat ground, just because I love skating flat ground. There's so many things to do. A lot of my best sessions can just be flat ground sessions, and it's really fun. However, if I had to pick an obstacle, I would say ledges for sure, which is probably super obvious to anyone watching this, but ledges are very fun. I think as I've gotten older, they are fairly low impact as well. I don't find myself getting smoked on ledges and being laid up for weeks or months. I also really like skating small transition, like just little quarter pipes, mini ramps, whatever it may be. It's super fun, low impact, doesn't require a ton of energy. Yeah, mini ramps are really fun as well, but between mini ramps and ledges, I'd have to say ledges are my favorite. I used to skate flat bars a lot too, but anymore we don't have a local flat bar. The closest one is at a skate park anyway, is in Moscow, which is about 30 miles away. I do have a little flat bar, but it kind of sucks, and it was built to where it fits in the back of my car, so it's very short. I can't do very long grinds, and that's what I need to work on, is like holding grinds, so it's really not very good for that. And yeah, so I'm gonna say ledges are my favorite. I think the feeling of progression on ledges is very fun. There's a few times where I'm like scared, where the wits are scared out of me. I don't wanna try something. There's a few times where tricks really freak me out, but generally speaking, that doesn't happen too often. So I'm gonna say ledges. Another question from my buddy Brian in Taiwan. He says, have you ever covered your bolts up? And what he means by that is like, generally on your board, your bolts go over top the grip tape. He's asking if I've ever grip taped over the bolts. And I can recall doing that at a young age. This is probably my teenage years or something. I do recall doing that, very silly. No real point, but I remember as a kid, we would get just the nastiest grip tape because we would skate all around town, rain or shine. We didn't care. We'd be skating everywhere we went. Boards were always with us. And if we just so happened to go through a puddle or something, or leave our board outside in the rain, it wouldn't bother us. We'd just keep on trucking, which is disgusting. So our grip tape would get really, really gross, and we'd need to change it. And we would do the quickest and easiest thing, which would be taking off the old grip, slapping on the new grip without taking the trucks off, which is silly. So yes, I have done that before. Using a paper cutter to get an extra straight line. What? You're good. I know, we have paper cutters. That works so good. That is so much easier than trying to cut straight with a knife or a razor blade. Wow. Bullet. Cuts so good. Hello, 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 hello. Okay, it's working. All right, found another sticker. I love all these stickers, that makes me happy. So, I generally like to cut a line in my grip tape so that I know which side is the back. However, on this deck, because it is basically a twin tail or twin nose construction, I don't really have to do that. However, I'm going to, because I'm used to it. I'm gonna go right here with the Ever Slick, and then it'll just show part of the VX deck for no other reason than I can. Now, which side was cut? This side was cut. Uh-oh. Problem. It can never be perfect, but I like to be close, because it bugs me when it's not even. Very sticky. So I typically like to skate either an 8-1-2-5 or an 8-2-5. I have skated some 8-inch decks in the past, but they're just a little too small. They're fun to dork around on, but as for what's comfortable for me, I think 8-2-5 is my sweet spot. When I feel like my tricks are kind of not working, flip tricks, then I will tend to gravitate towards a thinner deck. I'll go to an 8-1. But in the recent past, at least, I've found myself kind of sticking with 8-2-5. I think that's the best thing for me because I have pretty large feet. So I think if I keep it that way, then that's enough for my feet to hold on to, so I'm not constantly towing or heeling, because I very much dislike that. I think it makes tricks look awful when you tow or heel, and it makes your body do weird things as well, which is not cool. All right, so I'm gonna line this one up right here. Not perfectly straight, but pretty good. Okay, that's it. So yeah, I like to skate an 8-2-5. It's what's comfortable for me. It's big enough for my feet, so my feet aren't hanging off too much. And for a lot of my tricks, like heel flips, I like to hang my toes off the board. So having a deck that is a little bit thinner makes it easier for me to set up for heel flip tricks, especially nollie heel, regular heel, fakie, and switch heel. I hang my toes off the board quite a bit. So having that much room on there to hang them off without making my balance all crazy is a huge benefit for me. You know, not bad. Not perfect, but I don't care. I don't care. I wish I had a roller. Those rollers that people use on grip tape are so nice. So that's the size I like to ride. I typically like to get a fairly small wheelbase. Oh wow, this grip tape's nice. The perforations make it pretty easy to push bubbles out with not much force needed. That's great. Bullet grip tape. But yeah, I like to have either a 14-inch wheelbase or 14.1. This one is 14.13, I think. So basically 14 inches and 1/8. So there's gonna be a 16th inch more on each side between the trucks than I had before. Not a lot, but I should notice it slightly. I'm thinking it's not gonna be a bad thing. I think overall I'm gonna get used to it and enjoy it, especially with the nose and tail being similar in size. I think that's gonna be very, very helpful. So I'm super excited to try that out. All right, let's sand our grip down. Whew, stinky. Alrighty, where's me knife? Okay, so that's the wheelbase I typically like to ride. As for wheels, I enjoy harder wheels for sure. I used to like skating 54s and 56 millimeter wheels, but since then I've kind of graduated to the somewhat smaller wheels because that gives you the quicker pop that I often enjoy. So having smaller wheels is gonna make your pivot point closer to the ground, so the tail's gonna touch a lot sooner than if you were up higher off the ground. So having that quicker pop, it can limit your height on some tricks a little bit because your angle of trajectory is a bit more shallow as opposed to being up higher. However, I've grown accustomed to that, so anymore I like 52 to 53 millimeter wheels. Occasionally I will buy a set of 54s if there's like a good price or something, but generally smaller wheels do me the best. And I think that's one thing that's really crucial as we age with skateboarding. We need to find what our perfect setup is. And for me, it is definitely, from what I've experienced, riding a shorter wheelbase, the shortest I can find being like 14 or 14.1, 8.1 to 825 deck, smaller or small-ish wheels. I've yet to venture into anything sub 50 millimeter, but I'm not opposed to it. If anyone links me to some good 48 millimeter wheels, I'd love to try it. Maybe I'd finally be a slappy guy if I had some little wheels like that, but I'm really liking the setup that I have thus far. This knife sucks. Why does this knife suck? I think I have a better one in the trunk, but I did not feel like rummaging through my nasty trunk. All right, cool, we're getting there. Not the best grip job. As for trucks, I'm really not too picky. I like independent trucks. Normally, independents are what I ride, but these Ace AF1s were touting a very low kingpin. They were very, very strong. People were really touting them as being like amazing, so I had to give them a try. A buddy of mine, Jeff, got a pair first and he loved them. I rode his board around. It felt great. The turning is super responsive. The turning radius feels pretty sharp. I don't know how exactly they manage that. Go watch a Ben DeGrosse video if you want to know that, but they just skate really good, very responsive. You feel like you know what your board's gonna do, even when you land wrong. You're able to correct and feel like you can understand what's happening and how to fix it. And maybe that is partially due to the bushings that they use. I don't know what the bushings are. I assume they're a medium bushing. I don't think they're soft. They could be, but they feel really good. I've been loving them. I definitely recommend some Ace AF1s. Maybe there'll be an AF2 out eventually. That would be incredible. There might already be an AF2 out. I don't know. Creating trucks is not easy, so I'd be surprised if there was already a new version of them. As for bearings, bearings really do not matter. Get ceramics, get Swiss, Reds, whatever. Get some ATM or mini logo bearings. It's not gonna matter, just like try to keep them clean and they're gonna skate just fine. That's my advice. I just ride whatever. I got 2 pairs of, actually, these might be Sparrow bearings. Yeah, I think these are Sparrow bearings. I was wrong, not Reds. I had a pair of Reds and then I ordered some Sparrow bearings from a buddy. Sparrow Bearings is located in Portland area, I want to say. So I got some bearings from them and the guy was super nice and sent me an extra set, which is great. I still have them in my trunk. I'll probably swap those on here before long, but yeah, that's basically my setup. I'm gonna go ahead and finish setting this thing up and then we'll take a look at the finished product. Here she is, all finished. This thing's looking really good. Get a line in the back so I know which is the back and which is the front. Oh, so excited to skate this thing. Moving up. Cheesy thumbnail. All right, bye.